everyone, it's Stephanie with Bottom of the Bin Secondhand Art and Craft Supplies, and today we are using some supplies from our shop and some supplies from our viral unbinning series where I purchased an entire collection from an 80-year-old lady, and we are making this whimsical, magical, I wanted it to be fairy inspired, but I didn't quite get any fairy vibes from it, from the imagery, but it's kind of just like this new art journal that I'm starting, and it's definitely a bit more 3D and embellished than what I would normally do. So we're starting off here just kind of spraying the pages with Distress Oxides by Tim Holtz, and I really love these. They have matte colors and then like this shimmery sparkle, which I'm adding with like this hot pink, and I added some gray to kind of neutral it out a bit. And now I'm adding blue, and I totally forgot that mixing blue and pink make purple. So it came out a bit more galaxy than I anticipated, but I still really like it. And as you can see, some of the colors start to lift on their own with the oxides. I don't know if all of them are oxides, some might just be regular sprays, but I sprayed it with some water as well to get some of that lift and also to blend the colors a bit more because they were looking very circular, very, I don't know, too much like a pattern. And I probably wet the pages a bit too much because it did take a bit to dry, but it came out all right. I'm actually happy with the results. Now I'm going to go through with a paper towel and just kind of dab it off to get a little bit of the moisture up and to blend the colors a little bit more. And you can see like the top looks a bit more galaxy than the rest, but I'm actually really fine with that. It really ends up working with the theme, not really the theme, but just see, it looks nice. And I think this was like the first image that kind of threw off my fairy core plan that I had, but I thought she was absolutely beautiful and I wanted to use the blue and pink colors together. So I did kind of veer off a bit. I think next time I'm going to probably stamp or print some fairy images because I don't really have a lot in my ephemera. But this door, okay, this is kind of a funny story. I have this book of doors and I was doing a little flip through on TikTok a while back, kind of just doing like some ASMR content, and it was from my own personal collection, but someone saw it and they wanted to purchase it. And so I said, I guess I can sell it to you. I've had it for a long time and I never use it. So she came into my shop and picked it up, and then she made me this incredible like block, this wooden block that she put one of the door images on and painted it and made it absolutely stunning. And she chose a blue door, which was one of my favorite ones in the book, and she didn't know it was just like a pure coincidence. So that was one of the coolest things ever. But I ended up missing my book of doors more than I anticipated, and so I ended up purchasing a new one. So we have one again, and that's where I got this image from. I'm also going through with some tulle. This came from my shop and it's very light, kind of hard to see in the video. It's more like a silverish color, but I think it really adds that whimsy, almost cloud-like feel. And these dried flowers I thought were perfect as well. I don't know if they're real dried flowers. I think they might be artificial, but I definitely want some dried flowers for this journal as I continue it. And I think I might just actually make my own. It's not that hard to press flowers. I think you could just kind of put them between a book and let them dry out. And if that doesn't end up working out, or if I'm too lazy, which is probably probably what's going to end up happening, I will probably just purchase some or wait for more to come through our shop. So now I'm going through and adding this little mixture that I made of beads and flatback rhinestones. I kind of wish I didn't use the flatbacks because obviously when you see the back of them, they're not the same color as the front. They're more like an off-white. I don't think it made a really big difference here, especially because it's on the white background with the like the dried flowers or whatever those are, like the baby's breath. But I definitely want to make more of just like a bead mixture next time, maybe some stones, or I ended up finding some really cool crushed glass. I don't know if it's necessarily sea glass, but it looks like it, and it's pink and blue, and I'll definitely use that in a future journal. And the ribbon I also got from my shop, I believe, or I might have had it. I can't remember. I definitely use like a whole mix of things that I've been collecting. But these paper flowers, I know for a fact, came from the Unbinning series, and I think she made them herself. I'm pretty sure they look like they were hand stamped and hand colored, but if not, you know, whoever made them did a really good job. So this is where I would have preferred maybe some actual real flowers or, you know, dried flowers instead, but I used what I had and I think it came out really cute. So here I'm just adding some more mesh, covering up some of the background. I initially planned to cover most of it and just kind of have a little bit of the color poking through, but since it came out so pretty, I decided to just kind of leave a little bit of it more bare. And I think it really added something to the journal page because it's going to be very 3D as you'll see towards the end, but it's nice to also have a bit of that flatness as well so the whole thing doesn't just look like it's ready to fall off the page. I have no idea how this is going to hold up in the long run, and I don't really care because it's just fun and therapeutic, and I love making stuff like this. I've usually kept them a bit more flat in the past, but I actually saw a TikTok of someone who made one like this. Hers was a hobbit hole though. It was like green and brown, definitely a different aesthetic, but I really liked the use of, more dimensional pieces. And I found this, I believe this is called flocking powder. I don't know if this white one is necessarily flocking powder or if it was something else, but this was part of the Unbinning series. And I ended up keeping it in a bunch of different colors. I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to be used. I don't know if it's supposed to be heated up and treated like an embossing powder, but either way, it just turned out really nice because it gives that moss feel without actually having to use moss, because I don't like it. It gets everywhere. I mean, obviously this does too. This was definitely a messy project, way more messier than I would have chosen, but I saw something, I was inspired, and I went with it. So I probably will do it again, but use a little spoon next time. Using my fingers for everything, it started to get really sticky, especially with the glue. So yeah, a little spoon or scoop of some sort I think will be a good thing to use. And I'm definitely going to pre-mix more of those little bead soups, I guess you can call them. I got these little clear containers from our store, and I'll be filling those with just random things that I find. It doesn't have to just be beads and rhinestones. It could be anything. It could be, I don't know, little bits of paper or little bits of dried flour or pieces of plastic. I mean, anything that's shiny and sparkly and just adds to this, I think will be really, really fun to start collecting things. Here's the actual flocking powder, this pink one. I really, really like it. It came out super adorable. I did have to give it a little bit of a shake towards the end. I was trying not to move it around on camera so that it kind of stayed in the same position, but there was definitely loose beads and moss in quotes, and flocking powder just flying everywhere. So I had to give a good vacuum when I was done. And I did this like fabric background instead of my white desk, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best idea because it's a little bit harder to get the stuff off of fabric than it would have been a smooth surface. So I'll try to see what I can use next time. I just thought like the white background would be a little bit too harsh. And these buttons are super cute. This came from our shop as well. Someone had brought in an entire collection of vintage buttons. I used to have a wonderful one back I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I ended up selling it along with a lot of my other crafting supplies at the time, and I definitely regretted it and missed them. So when those came through, I pulled out mostly pink ones and I believe some like white and cream. I don't think I really took any other colors, but yeah, they were just beautiful and ornate. These ones are a bit more fuzzy with fabric on them, but I'll definitely use the other buttons in a different project. And now we're adding some more of these really pink stickers. These flowers and butterflies came from the same pack as the window. And I've been trying to collect things that have like this cottage feel, this fairy, magical, whimsical feel, and definitely anything architecture related. I love doors and windows and arches and buildings. And paper flowers are absolutely one of my favorite art supplies to use. I use a ton of them in my greeting cards, and of course it makes them, super hard to mail. So I always tell people that they're meant to be handed to someone or put, in a package with another gift. But that's definitely one of my signature pieces is the paper flower. So sadly, we don't get a lot of those come through bottom of the bin, and when we do, I kind of snatch them up. But here is a closer look. I hope you all enjoyed this journal spread. I think it came out absolutely beautiful. I'm really proud of myself. I can't wait to make more, and I would love to hear any suggestions of what themes or colors you want to see next. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.